So let's talk about truth for a moment. Balance. We're blinded by the filters of our persona. We can only allow certain truths to exist through mutual conception, so we come to these agreements, these judgments. Let's see here. This hat is like been stretched out. Alright, so judgments, perception. It has to be, or it doesn't have to be, it is calibrated by the depth of your own awareness. We all are ignorant, we have to be. Otherwise, why? You wouldn't be speaking, I suppose, or be here. So the edifice of truth has to be honored as a distinction, externalized for others to agree on. So when people are tuned into that, calibrated to what that is rather than what they've been learning within themselves, they're trying to honor a mutual relation over the individual self, which is a beautiful thing. But to me, that's a result of a purity that one finds within themselves. It's not an attainment to seek in the world. But I do feel everyone has their own way, and they can find it by following what they feel pulled to do. So there's no ultimate right or wrong, I don't think. But a judgment is made in relation to a mutual agreement. But the charge, the actual power of the judgment is within the self. It's a decision made by the individual. And when you rise and fall by your judgments in the world or in others, you learn the peaks and valleys of your own shadows. Some are born with this, others develop it, but when you are the judger, when you are making judgments in the eyes of others, they don't actually know that you're just learning. You're open to learning, that's all. The truth will always stand on its own and speak for itself, and you may not know it in real time. A student has to be okay with making mistakes because it's their nature. If you are afraid to make the mistakes, then your judgments hold very strong gravity, and you climb the peak of that gravity. And then over time enough absolutions die and become contradictions so that you can realize that the ignorance is the process. So judgments are a process, they're not a destination. That's what I'm trying to say. It is the belief you give to a consensus narration, agreement. That is the source of where your power is, essentially. So do your agreements in this world or with other people, do they have to adhere to the programming of your past? If they do, then you stand firm in the static of the judgment. It gives you strength, gives you distinction. Otherwise, you just keep rolling in progression. That is my experience, my perspective on it. If you study occult systems, then I have the Judgment card as one of my tarot cards for my birthday. And that's a Pluto card. I got Pluto in the 12th house, strongly aspected. And people, myself included, run the Pluto energy in relation. It's part of dynamics in life, energy exchange. So it's a channel for Pluto energy, the signatures. We're all tuned to certain frequencies. We have elemental makeups, just like genetic makeups. That's the hardware. Then the software is the epigenetics, the cultural background, the creeds and the societal dictums and all that other stuff. And the myths, which circle around through those archetypes which we relate with. Who invented the square and why? Does the importance of what that is go away with time when we move into another direction? These are just little things, but they're examples of how the frequency of the self is dynamic, the awareness. It's epigenetic. Law of relation informing form through friction. Awareness unfolding to process consciousness of self situation, of relation. Then we ultimately get to the choice, does it matter, am I worth it? Is anything worth it? That's underpinning everything. And when you're down, nothing is, so why ask? Why? Just try, bud, try. You know? We're swimming. You can't stop when you're swimming, or you sink. You can stop and float, and you just watch the clouds pass on by. Eventually, you'll swim again. That's how life is. Alright, that's all I wanted to say.